Blackpool is a well-established seaside resort, but in recent years the population of Britain has disregarded it to upstake their holidays abroad, which are warmer and more affordable than they ever used to be. To me, I think Blackpool's one of England's national treasures. Though what makes Blackpool a magic wonder is it continuously surprises. Every year visitors keep coming back, largely due to the almost fairy tale lights illuminated along the promenade. In this documentary, we will find out the ins and outs of where and how they are made.
LightWorks has been here for 2 years now, and in fact we moved in about 2 years ago. We spent 2 years designing the factory and it cost £7.5 million to build. We're one of the closest buildings to the runway, and the building is the size it is mainly due to the storage. The illuminations, they're funded by Blackpool Borough Council. We receive 1.8 million from the council every year as a contribution. They actually cost 2.2 million to run, and the additional funding that's required, that's gained from the collections on the promenade. As you can see, we do get people to sponsor the illuminations. What tends to happen is rather than get to pay for a whole section, which is really expensive, we tend to get them to contribute towards it, which helps with our costs. You can see here I'm still with a load of McDonald M's. We've predominantly moved towards LED lamps now in the illuminations. This is our standard G45 LED lamp, various colours with an opaque cap. We also still use filament lamps, and this is our standard workhorse A15 lamp. Again, these are all 24 volts, which makes it nice and safe when they're being worked on in the display. Okay, we're now at the control hut for Little Miss Muffet. She's one of the larger tableaus, and you can see there's absolutely loads of wiring that goes on. We employ 6 electricians full-time here at the Illuminations. You can see in here, this is all the control system. Each one of these, it switches an individual circuit on the tableau, and again, it's all 24 volts to make everything nice and safe.
I'm an electrician at Blackpool Illuminations. I've been here 6 years. One of the reasons why I enjoy my job, and one of the reasons why I became an electrician, is that when I was that high, we used to come here on holidays with my mum and dad, and I used to say to them, I want to put those up when I get older. And as I say, I've been here 6 years now, and that's the reason why I became an electrician. Best bit about my job is probably getting job satisfaction out of what I do. It's nice to see either build something new, repair something, and see it up on the prom, and knowing that thousands and thousands of people are going to see exactly the same thing as I do every day.
Do you occasionally go down to the prom to go and see people's reactions to what they are about?
Yeah, mainly, I mean, I also own a hotel, so I have a vested interest on, obviously, my own clients come in and enjoying Blackpool Illuminations. But yeah, certainly I go down when a new section that we've built, to see that on in its glory, then such as Bling in front of the tower, which was a new section last year, to see all of that lit up, knowing full well that you've actually built it, is quite an achievement.
Regarding renewable energy, we do actually have wind turbines on the promenade, and what they do, they feed into the infrastructure, which obviously helps reduce our overall power consumption. Now in the fitter shop, and the illuminations are made here at LightWorks. It's something that we've done for years. A lot of people think that everything's manufactured, and it's manufactured, just bought in, but it's not. We build everything from scratch. As you can see behind me, we've got some nice old machinery that's used. Obviously there's a lot more new up-to-date machinery now, but the guys are happy with these and won't let me change them. As well as metal, we also use wood to manufacture the illuminations. If any of you have seen the tableaus at the north end of the cliffs, they're 90% built of wood. It's a traditional construction method, and we now do it in this nice new joinery shop. One of the luxuries the guys have is daylight. Nowadays, we never used to have. It was very dull where the guys used to work, so it's all nice and new looking with some new machinery. As we've said, we use a lot of timber in the illuminations to manufacture mainly the tableaus. This is one of the larger tableaus, great to be green, and obviously putting lights outdoors isn't a great idea, so what we have to do is build into the design, the capability to withstand the 1 in 100 years gale, which now we class as a hurricane. So as you can see, the things are pretty robust. We're now in the fiberglass workshop. As you probably noticed, the illuminations are not only 2D but 3D, and fiberglass is the best material for us to use to generate the 3D shapes. What we do, we start off by carving the shape out of a big block of polystyrene, and then it's laid up in fiberglass and dug out to create a mould. It's more or less the same process as bolt building. The design of the illuminations it's a real team effort. We actually work with Lawrence Llewellyn Bowen. He's now our Director of Creativity, has been for 5 years. What we do, we take a lot of advice from the public and visitors who tell us what they want to see, and then we'll feed that back into the designs. So what tends to happen is late December, early January, we all get together, brainstorming session, Lawrence will be involved, and then we'll come up with concepts for the following year's display.
Yeah, my name's Keith Jones. Worked at Blackpool Illuminations for about 15 years now. My job here is a carpenter. Everything you can see on the illumination on the promenade is basically built here, you know, and I'm involved in all the woodwork side of it. One time we used to have a lot more joiners worked here. I'm here on my own at the moment, but in the summertime we get contractors in, joiners. We had 5 last year. Working for Lawrence Llewellyn Bowen, you know, you're probably the designer, and we did theatre DMO. We've done quite a few other things for Lawrence as well. I think 3 or 4 other tableaus over the last few years. So the job's quite interesting. Get some really interesting jobs. Other jobs, obviously, like maintenance. What I'm doing at the moment, that's repairing the stuff that's already been out. That's what I've been doing for the last month or 2, but hopefully we're going to start new work soon. The girls are doing some designs at the moment, and hopefully we'll start working on those quite shortly. And for this year's show that opens at the end of August.
We're in the CAD room in LightWorks. We've got Shuichi working behind me, who's bringing up the teddy bears for 2012, and as you can see, we've got some designs from last year. These were the original concept drawings for Bling, which is now up on the promenade. Okay, we're now in the UK's 2nd largest spray booth. We've got 5 artists who work at the illuminations. We predominantly use water-based paints now, but we are geared to use cellulose, and everything is actually sprayed by hand.
Does that have any effect on the actual weather conditions that you paint?
No, if you're talking about withstanding the weather conditions, both paints are really good at that now, or for that. What we find is, if anything, cellulose dries a lot quicker and will adhere to some things that the water-based won't.
My job is an artist here at the Illuminations, which involves doing designing on the computer for new features, also carving new features from polystyrene, and then going on to spraying them with spray guns, and sometimes just hand painting them as well. And the more boring side of the job is maintaining all the old features that come in that need repainting.
What's your most favourite bit though?
My favourite bit is probably the carving, but we don't get to do that as much these days because we aren't making as much new stuff. But when I do get to do that, it's really rewarding.
Again, we're in LightWorks. As you can see, we need a lot of storage for the Illuminations. Everything comes down every year. It's brought into the depot, stored away, and then it's maintained, ready for next year. We're now on the mezzanine storage area in LightWorks. This is where all the roadway features are stored. So all the large features that you see on the columns on the promenade are stored up here. They're all worked on, maintained, and then they're shipped out ready for next year's display. We start putting the lights up in April and we finish probably a week before switch on.
In 1879, 8 Siemens arc lamps gave the promenade with light, spaced over the distance of 320 yards. These lights emitted the equivalent of 48,000 candles and earned the title of artificial sunshine, possibly one of the first, if not the first, electric street light in the world. We've come a long way since then, with mass expansion, which you can see today. A lot of hard work and dedication goes into building and maintaining these magnificent lights, which are displayed every year for your pleasure.
During the Illuminations, obviously we have to look after the display, and what we do, we have 6 teams of chaps who are out. We have lamping teams who predominantly just lamp the Illuminations, looking for outages all the time, and we have 3 teams with electricians in who continually repair the Illuminations. Over the past few years we've introduced low voltage, predominantly now 24 volt, and what that means for us is we now have a 98% lit rate at any one time when you come and see the display, and also it's great and safe for the guys working on the display.
However, the successor to the rhythmical pulses on the tableau is none other than an ordinary man who studied under Mr. R.C. Quinn, who was an electrical engineer who proposed the tramway that was agreed to. Frederick William Field was told to undertake private experiments by Mr. Quinn. With the skills he had acquired, he was able to construct these magnificent tableaus. He was also modest, but if it wasn't for him, the Illuminations wouldn't be what they are today. And this is what he left behind. I think his successor, Frederick William Field, would be proud. And each year it continually seems to bring large numbers of you to our unique seaside resort, helping our region's economical growth. So we thank you for doing so.
You ready?
Okay, yeah, go for it.
First of all, oh God, I'm crap asking questions. That's why I give you. That's why I give you preempt. You know, like. What were they again?
What's your job?
Yeah.
What's it entail? Do you like it?
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Shall I just interview myself?
Yeah.
Okay.